open this, that would be great. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I can open that. Yes, good evening, everyone. Never could I have imagined that my life would be so directly impacted by cancer. After attending my first Expect Miracles event, I think just over a decade ago, but that's exactly what happened in August of last year. After spending the summer getting a whole bunch of tests and blood work and seeing a lot of specialists trying to understand why I was so damn tired all the time, I received an initial MRI reading that shook me to my core. I had multiple masses on my brain that showed signs of spreading, the dreaded M word, as was referenced earlier. Following that initial reading, I quickly self-certified as Dr. Google and became pretty overwhelmed and fairly convinced that I probably only had a few months to live. Then something interesting happened. You guys might know a PET scan. I was on my way to get that PET scan to figure out just how far that cancer may have spread. And I got an unexpected phone call from the neurosurgery department at Brigham and Women's Hospital, which is very directly related to Dana-Farber, as you may know. And a few days later, I learned that I had an official diagnosis of a rare form of blood cancer called Primary CNS Lymphoma. Sounds pretty terrifying, but here's the thing. Thanks to research done by Dana-Farber researchers, my neurosurgeon told me that this type of cancer was treatable, and that primary meant that it was isolated to the brain. So I had a decision to make. In 3 short weeks after that initial MRI reading, I underwent brain surgery that included potential outcomes of not waking up or meaningfully extending my life when combined with treatment. That choice was an easy one. So a few weeks later, I began the induction phase of my treatment, as you can see there, which included many rounds of chemo spread over several months. I felt a mix of hope and fear, but I tried to stay grounded and trusted my care team. Fast forward to January, and I received good news. No more tumors. But the fight was far from over. Next, I had an auto stem cell transplant in February, followed by really intense rounds of chemo, which combined to form the next crucial steps in eradicating this disease. It was very grueling, but I was determined. 5 weeks later, my mom's birthday, I went home. So the doctors who saved my life, you should probably learn a little bit about them. I had my neurosurgeon, who I mentioned, my neuro-oncologist, my auto stem cell strategist, as you might call them, and an array of NPs, PAs, and medical staff that were by my bedside every single day providing exceptional care. They're the real heroes. They had to put up with my dad jokes, and maybe, just maybe, walking the halls without my gown fully closed at all times. So, how did I get through this? Music helps heal the soul. So I created a playlist that I listened to on repeat. In fact, Frank, I called you by walking the halls while listening to that very playlist. Early on in treatment, I shared my story on social media to humanize what I was going through in my family. Turned out that it resonated. Thousands of people engaged with those posts over the course of the past year. My sisters and my parents took turns coming up from Philly to aid in my recovery. My parents are here, my wife is here. Christina, unwavering support. She's been my rock. Speaking of rock, I convinced my care team that seeing the Foo Fighters at Fenway was therapeutic and would be worth the risk so we could get a night out. And we did. Yeah, I'm happy to share that my life is somewhat getting back to normal. Since May 1st, I've been back to work full time. managing a great team. I work with a company called Sayari. We manage very ethical supply chains. I could not have asked for a more supportive work environment. They made a donation tonight. They've been the most incredibly flexible and generous employer one could ask for. Last month, in fact, I took a business trip to DC to see our office and for some proper adulting. My son was very jealous of the seafood tower. He's 6. In October, my family and I completed a 5K as part of the Jimmy Fun Walk. I think we raised $10,000, so that was pretty incredible. And this summer, I spent a beautiful weekend in Maine with my wife and son, something I could not have dreamed of a year ago. Just this past weekend, I was down with my Philly family for my dad's 40th birthday and my parents' anniversary. But the bottom line is this: none of this would have been possible without an investment in cancer research that happened well before my diagnosis. So it's great to be here tonight for the 20th anniversary of Expect Miracles in Boston. Thank you all so much for your commitment to raising money for research. Everyone who supported me, my doctors, my family, my friends. I'm gonna break. Yes, just remember that, my story is a reminder that there's always hope at the end of the tunnel, or often hope. I never thought I would get cancer, but I obviously did. But I believe that with continued investment in research, we can continue to overcome the unthinkable. So before I step off the stage, give this back to Frank, please dig deep tonight on a live appeal. Be generous. Fund the doctors and researchers discovering new therapies all the time. Thank you.